Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odesa, and we are starting today with the briefing of the NGO Buduemo Ukrainu Razom, Building Ukraine Together, which is an informal education center for future officers of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Our current guests are Dyachenko, administrator of the project, and Serhiy Varlamov, Ukrainian Armed Forces soldier, initiator of the project. Good afternoon. Ivan, the floor is yours. Building Ukraine Together is an NGO that was established in 2014 after the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. We make contributions all over the country. We involve young people to volunteering activities, and the main aim of the NGO is to involve youth through informal education, mentorship, and creating possibilities for young people. And since with the start of the full-scale invasion, we try to involve in rebuilding infrastructure and into rebuilding of our cities, towns, and this is unusual activities for us, and I think that Serhiy will share with you details of our activity. When it comes to the aims of the organization, we try to make contributions not only in directly building infrastructure or places for IDPs. We also try to create community spaces for young people. We also try to involve communities to unite them because they need this right now to unite around common targets. And as for the camp, Serhiy will share details. My name is Serhiy Varlamov. I am the Ukrainian Armed Forces soldier. I serve in the 126th separate brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Half a year ago, I thought about creating leadership and management course, and then it developed into the idea to create the military leadership center. And we saw a demand. We, together with our team, saw a demand for another type of management, a Western style, Western management level. And we saw that demand among among soldiers and officers. So both soldiers and officers wanted to improve their capacities. And it is very important, and this differs from the Russian army. There is no demand like that. We don't know how to do this, but we want this to do this. They don't want this, and they don't know this. The key word here is leadership, and I believe that it will become very popular in Ukraine. And leadership has been promoted through different opinion leaders. We have different leadership centers established all over Ukraine. There is the Leadership Center of Ukrainian Catalonia University, which supports us in our work. Our military now undergoes the leadership courses, Andrei Rождественский courses in the mentioned center. And our soldiers also learn from Svetlana Buhai from the Leadership Center that teaches our soldiers, and the course is train the trainers course. So these are coaching or mentoring courses, and our soldiers can get knowledge there, and they also can teach others. Thank you. Who will be the teachers in your center, and do you plan to cooperate with the military higher institutions of Ukraine? I've already mentioned our teachers. Who will be our teacher? This will be soldiers from our brigade and also from the military academy and other representatives of other units. And we also involve Western experts. We cooperate with the sergeant of the USA Army, and he has roots in Ukraine, and he now fights in Ukraine, and he is ready to share knowledge about the American Army and the Surgeons Institute there. And Mr. Levin, he will support us a lot, who was the officer of the Jewish army, and he also helps us with exercises, and he has also provided our knowledge that will be needed by the future officers. As I've already mentioned, this is a joint project of the 126th Brigade and the Military Academy in Odesa, and also the head of the assault faculty, Serhiy Varlamov. I'd like to emphasize this. Now we are more focused on the future officers and the existing officers in our brigade, and also the students of the academy. And in the future, we are going to upscale our activities. How many people have already joined your courses? How the process is organized? How can people apply to your courses? We will work first with our soldiers from our brigade. This will be our base for further activities. I cannot share the amount of people serving in our brigade and people studying in our military academy. I'd like only to mention that this will be the baseline of our activity. Thank you. Are there any questions from our colleagues? Michael Vasura, Newsweek Journal. If I understand right, you started working in 2014. The organization Building Ukraine Together, and we now help with the building. And how your work have changed over the last year and a half? Since the very beginning, Building Ukraine Together just rebuilt houses in Kramatorsk that suffered shelling. That was not NGO, that was the program of the Lviv Education Platform. It's called Lviv Education Foundation. And volunteers from Lviv were managed to find minimum financial support, and they just decided to rebuild buildings in Kramatorsk. So we did not have the format of volunteer camps back then, but then we understood that in Kramatorsk there was a developing community around the people involved in the process, and people who wanted to have such initiative in their cities and towns. And in 2021, we turned into NGO, Buduemo Ukrainu Razom, or Building Ukraine Together. We worked with spaces for young people, for communities to unite young people. And that was in the following format. Young people from all over Ukraine came to some town or a city for volunteering. And for example, I could come into Lviv from Donetsk, and there I could meet new people, and at the same time I was involved in reconstructing infrastructure. With the start of the full-scale invasion, we have been facing other tasks and requests, like to repair premises for IDPs. We have also requests to rebuild damaged infrastructure, like infrastructure for IDPs. And now we have the increased demand for volunteering among young people. And we had 6 participants in our volunteer camps before the full-scale invasion. And now we want to involve 6,000 more for the next year, because we can see the increased demand for volunteering among Ukrainian, including young people. So we continue our work with the civil premises, civil spaces, but we have different other projects, like unique project that we have in Odesa. And this is a building camp. but we try to meet the challenges and to cope with the challenges of nowadays. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? I have a question from the journalist online. What is the response of other universities, like the State Bodegat Academy in Khmelnytsky and the Kharkiv Air Defense Academy? When I answered the question about the amount of people, I meant that we have a lot of soldiers that train to become officers or already existing officers. We don't want to try to solve all the issues. Now we want to show the result at the local level and then to scale up our cooperation. We have now proposals from other educational institutions and other units, and now I cannot disclose the information, but I think that in 2 months we will have an official opening, and during the opening we will be able to announce the regulation of our work, strategy, vision, so what we are going to start from and the types of cooperation, and we will be more specific, because now we have the tactic issue of the organizing our work, and we need to solve a lot of issues here, and we are not ready to share our strategy because we have now a great amount of people whom we want to start working with. That's why we do not want to speak about more ambitious goals now. Now I would like to briefly explain how it all happened. So first, we had a dream. And then, thanks to Ukrainians, we started implementing this idea. And actually, because we can see the demand all over the country. And in the beginning, there was the question of how to construct such center. I don't have such experience to build such objects. And we just referred for the support to the NGO Building Ukraine Together, and we were really happy when they agreed to support us. Without them, it would be an impossible project. So just for your understanding, this is not like kind of a commercial activity. These are volunteers all over Ukraine who are ready to come and to build the facility with their own hands. As for the money raising, we needed initially 750,000 hryvnias. Around 10,000 people were involved in this money raising campaign, and it took us only 5 hours to collect the amount we needed. At first we thought about rebuilding facilities in basements or in garages, kind of an underground. But then we were offered a different level of premises, and I cannot disclose this information at the moment because of the safety issues, but this is a completely different quality level that meets our ideas and concepts basing on the Western standards. When we referred for the support in building construction materials, we understood that all businessmen, businesswomen were ready to support us financially. They also support us with food for volunteers, with accommodation for volunteers. All over Ukraine, people support us. And this level of support is enormous, and I'm very thankful to this. And this is an example of unity. And now I would like to say that this is the whole Ukrainian people who are involved in construction, and this is a unique experience. Thank you. Thank you for your initiative. We will stop here, and the next briefing will be dedicated to women officers. And it will take place at 1 p.m. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Дякую.
Дякую.